When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking out this bonus edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm your boy 12 Kyle, back in the building, and I have a special co-host. If you've been following the podcast, you know that she came on and blessed us once before. My homegirl Trish is back in the building. Trish, what up?
What up, Mr. Kyle? It's been a minute.
What's happening? Yeah, I know, right?
Life, you know how that is. One day at a time.
That's all we can do. That's all we could do. Well, I was talking to you before we started recording. I wanted to get you on because today's topic, we're talking about sleep. And we're going to get into the intricacies of sleep. But I wanted to bring you on because I deemed you as a sleep expert. But before I start talking and we delve in, tell the people what it is that you do for a living and how long you've been doing it and why I call you the sleep expert.
Okay. Well, I've been in medical in some form or fashion for 30 plus years. But for the last 20 years, I think it'll be 20 years in December, I have been a sleep coordinator, sleep apnea coordinator. I work for a large medical practice in my area, and we have sleep specialists, pulmonary specialists, and we deal with all types of sleep disorders, sleep medicine, things like that. Trying to get people efficient sleep.
See, there you go.
It's a huge problem now. It's a huge problem.
I'm sure. And like I said, what brought me to this conversation was that in one of my group chats, one of my homeboys, he said to us one day, a couple of weeks ago, he said that he's been sleeping 3 hours a night since the pandemic. And I was like, and I had to kind of stop and like, wait a minute, 3 hours? I thought he meant like, getting 3 hours in increments, but he said 3 hours total. And so I'm like, well, damn. So everybody in the group chat started asking him questions like, hey, what are you doing? What are you eating? Are you stressed out? That kind of thing. And he's just like, he said, since the pandemic, like he just cannot sleep. And it's been proven that a lot of us, our sleep patterns have changed. For some, especially if you've gone from, like me, working in an office to working from home. Right. So there's less, so you would think you probably get more sleep, but for some, they're not.
Yeah.
So for someone like that who is, well, I guess I'll start with why is sleep so important? I mean, I think we know the obvious, but what is it why should we get the sufficient amount of sleep each night?
So really kind of the obvious, it affects a lot of things in your body. So when you're getting sleep, an efficient sleep, your brain is resting, your body's resting. When you're sleeping at night, that's the time, that's your break for your body to heal, whatever's going on and rejuvenate itself, that kind of thing. So it's really important because also when you don't get enough sleep, it just affects everything when you're awake, whether you think it does or not. It can affect weight. They say getting more sleep can help you either maintain your weight or lose weight if you're trying, that kind of thing. So it's important. It's important.
You know what's funny is my wife, she always talks about how like, and this is, and I noticed this has happened to us during the pandemic. She says like she can't, like her brain doesn't turn off. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, if you're waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you're sending text messages or you're scrolling Facebook, which a lot of people do, you know, how is it, what would you say people should do to turn things off, if you will? Because if your mind is racing, then obviously you can't sleep.
Yeah, and you know, the mind racing thing, I used to have that. I think we touched on this the last time we had you had me on.
Mhm.
But things you can do are shut down the outside distractions. Like you said, the phone, don't get right on your phone, especially early in the morning, or stay on too late at night. Because you know, the phone and social media can get you caught up to where you're sitting on Facebook, TikTok, whatever you like, whatever's your preference. And next thing you know, you're like, okay, even if you were to time yourself, which I don't know how many people do,
Mhm.
but say if you were to time yourself, okay, I'm going to look on Facebook, look at my notifications, and be off by in a half hour.
Mhm.
You look up and you done been on that thing for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, it will suck you in.
Mhm.
And I'm sure everyone can relate that deals with social media or even like social media. I have some friends that just don't do it. They don't have a Facebook page, don't have an IG. They don't want it. They just have never been into it. So, which is good, which is really a good thing because you see everybody doing this.
Yes.
Nobody's paying attention. Nobody has a regular conversation.
Nope.
You go out to eat, people are in their phones. They're not talking to each other anymore. So, yeah,
That's right.
distractions. Get rid of the distractions. Anything outside of just, thinking
What
about.
about TV?
Oh, yeah. Because during the pandemic, for instance, when we were home or had to be home,
Mhm.
the news would freak me out. It was
Right.
like, so, and then I had some friends that I talked to. I had an older woman that I was friends with, and she was telling me how, I'm in the house and I just constantly watch the news.
Mm.
And I'm like, don't do that. Because then she started getting anxiety and things like that. A lot of us have come up through the pandemic with things that we didn't have before. Anxiety. If you weren't really a stressful person, now you're stressing about different things or, things will trigger you. So news is not good. I used to watch the news in the morning. I stopped all of that during the pandemic time because I just didn't want to hear it no more.
Yeah.
I needed to know just the important, pertinent stuff. And I'm in New York. So New York had the first
Yes.
big, I call it first generation COVID.
Mhm.
And it was horrible out here. Horrible. So, yeah. News.
I agree.
Everything in the news is not usually good.
No.
So,
I mean,
if you're watching something entertaining, that's different.
Mhm.
Something to take your mind off of stuff, good. Music, whatever, but the news itself, you're not really hearing anything great.
No. And I understand, and I think I talked about it before on the podcast. Like, I understand the need to want to be informed because we all should be informed as far as what's going on. But at the same time, if it's 5 o'clock in the morning and that's the first thing that you see, you're literally starting your day off with bad news. It's either they're either giving you the numbers of the people that died or went to the hospital for COVID, or the triple shooting on the other side of town, or something like, or
The
now
kids
the
getting
war. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, and people think that stuff doesn't get into your psyche, but it really does. If you're sitting there, it's anything else. If you're sitting there doing something repetitive, for instance, just like if they tell you to exercise, you do that repetitively, it becomes a habit. It's just like watching the news constantly. That stuff will get into your psyche, and you just, you find yourself during your day thinking about that story from the morning, that horrible story or that, yeah, so not good.
So as far as sleeping is concerned, what about food? does what we eat impact either positively or negatively how we sleep?
It depends on the body, because honestly, they say your body doesn't know the time that you eat. You know what I mean? Okay. They say that you shouldn't eat late at night, that you should, if you're trying to stay healthy and keep your body together, that you should stop eating, say at 7, latest 8 o'clock, before going to bed and stuff like that. And you shouldn't lay down on a full stomach, stuff like that. I used to think that way back in the day because that's what I was taught. That's what even from your parents, right. They eating late like that. But when you think about it, your body doesn't know what time it is when you eat. You know what I mean? Now, it may affect you because if I tend to eat late or eat something heavy, I should say, and I go to sleep, I tend to have dreams, and the dreams are not always nice. So, it can affect people different ways. Some people get acid reflux, of course.
Facts.
And that's not good. Gas, all kinds of things can happen. But so it just depends on the person, I think, in reference to sleep.
Okay. It's funny you mentioned that because I distinctly remember this. I was in college at South Carolina State, and it was one night where it was a Saturday night, and it was one of those nights, you know how like you get to a point where it's the part of the night where you're still hungry, but you probably should just go to sleep instead of eating.
Right.
And I was like, I'd already made up my mind. It was like 9 o'clock. I'd already made up my mind. I was like, I'm gonna give me a pizza. So I'm like, the hell with that. I'm gonna give me a pizza. And I got a medium pizza from Domino's. And I don't eat Domino's anymore, but I ate a medium pizza, and Trish, I ate the whole pizza. What? And like literally, yes, by myself. And then what was funny, it was probably like 8 slices, right? Okay. And maybe an hour and a half later, I fell asleep, and I had the worst night of sleep I've ever had. I mean, like I was tossing and turning. I had nightmares. It was bad. I was like, okay, I'm never eating Domino's, and I'm never.
Definitely affects people different ways. I know I can't eat something like marinara sauce real late.
You have acid reflux?
Oh my God. And I didn't really get that until I got older, of course, but I got it really bad one time. Made the mistake of eating marinara sauce late, and that thing in the middle of the night came up on me and was almost choking me because it was so acidy. It burned. It literally burned. And once it does that, it comes that far up, it's hard to get that feeling out of your throat. It takes a while. Yeah.
So when like, again, I consider you to be the sleep expert. I know a lot of people will say that you need 8 hours of sleep in your field, from which, and I know, and we'll touch on sleep apnea in just a second, but in your field, is there a perfect number that where people should fall, as far as sleep is concerned? Because some people function off of 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Obviously my homeboy, he's functioning off of 3 hours of sleep. I don't know how he's doing it,
but a good 6 to 8, of course, is ideal. Do most people get a good 6 to 8?
Nah.
I don't know. I know very few people that get a good 6 to 8. My sister's retired. She may get more sleep than us, but I used to run off of 4 hours of sleep. And I used to think that it was a problem because I'm a sleep coordinator. So I'm like, I really should be getting more sleep. I need to go to bed early. But my sleep clock, all of us have an internal sleep clock. And my sleep clock would just not let me sleep too early. If I went to bed too early, then I would wake up in the middle of the night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, why am I up? And then that's broken sleep, which is worse than you just staying up and then going to bed when you really feel sleepy. So a good 6 to 8 is good. But for some people, that's all you need. I used to feel bad about it. Like I said, that 4 hours. But then I realized that I'm good. That's what my body needs. And so I just dealt with it. As I got older, of course, I need a little more sleep. I probably get a good 6 if I have to, average it. Yeah, probably a good 6.
I say the same. I'm probably at about 6.
Yeah.
If I honestly, Trish, if I got 8 hours of sleep, I'd be grumpy.
You know what happens to me? And because a lot of my friends love to just, oh, I'm glad it's a do nothing day or do nothing weekend, and I could just stay in the bed. I can't do that.
Me neither.
I get so restless if I stay in the bed and I just lay, maybe get on the phone. I get so restless. It's like I'm antsy. And so I get up. I try to get up. I'm a morning person, and
Same.
Anyway, I like, which most of my friends aren't.
Yeah,
I can't even when I go on vacation and go to hotels, I can't stand when people just lay around. I'm like, no, I got to get up. I need breakfast. I need, let's go. That kind of thing.
Because I've never been the type to want to sleep the day away. I've been like that since college. I got to get up and get moving. So
yeah,
I totally feel you on that. Being a sleep coordinator, obviously you help people as far as like them setting up, and a lot of people that come to you have sleep apnea. Talk a little bit about sleep apnea, what it is, and how it affects us, for those who suffer from it.
So the most common thing that you'll hear if someone calls me about having sleep apnea or having a sleep issue, they may not necessarily know it's sleep apnea. One of my doctors has this motto of there's no emergencies in sleep. And he says that because people that have had sleep apnea have had it for quite a while. They just didn't know what it was, or they don't have a bed partner to witness that they have sleep apnea. So there's such a thing as witness sleep apnea. There's one of the diagnoses we use if we're getting authorization for a sleep study, because it shows that not only yourself is feeling, usually when you're sleeping, you'll feel gasping, choking. It may wake you up. And you ever snore? Or I don't know if you're a snorer. You can hear yourself snoring.
I don't think I'm a snorer.
I bet your wife does. Okay. But so snoring, the typicals are number one, snoring. Snoring doesn't necessarily mean you have sleep apnea, but it is a huge symptom of it. So snoring, gasping, choking, awakenings at night, waking up kind of like disoriented. You really don't know why you woke up, but something woke you up. Witnessed apnea is where you have a partner, you're sleeping, your wife is watching you sleep, and you look like you stop breathing for moments at a time.
Yes.
So your bed partner gets really nervous. And a lot of times the bed partner is the one that calls us and says, I need my husband to get a sleep evaluation because he stops breathing at night. And so what the bed partner does is shake the partner, and then they have a broken sleep. So it's kind of this catch-22 thing, but you just got to get the sleep apnea treated, because a lot of people feel like, the person that has the problem will usually come in and say, I don't snore, just like you did, or I don't feel myself waking up, or whatever. But he starts coughing, because if you're in that deep sleep and you wake up, you start coughing and choking, you just go right back to sleep. It's not like you wake up and you're kind of conscious, like, oh shoot, you go right back to sleep. So a lot of times they are in denial. They don't think that they actually have sleep apnea, because they've also heard that if they do have sleep apnea, they have to wear a machine at night, which is a CPAP machine. And it's they think it's oxygen. It's just actual air pressure that's blowing in the back of your throat. So when you have sleep apnea, and you're laying down, most of your palate and everything, your anatomy falls to the back of your throat. And so when it falls to your back of your throat, when you're really sleep and relaxed, you get those moments where it closes off your airway. And And so those moments where it closes off your airway may not be a very long time. It could be just a few seconds or whatever. You have full closings, which are actual apneas, and then you have hypopneas, which are partial closings of your throat. So if we look on a typical sleep study for somebody who is, say, severe, mild to severe, you'll see a lot of those things that happen on your back. They call it the supine position, which is laying on your back.
Okay.
And it's logical when you think about it and you know about sleep apnea. If you're laying on your back, everything's falling to the back of your throat. So you have those closings.
Yes.
So some people have it on their sides as well, sleeping on their side. You can, if you have mild sleep apnea, you can almost help yourself by sleeping on your stomach because nothing's falling to the back of your throat. Everything's falling forward. So you don't have those closings of your throat. So, yeah.
You know, I'm always amazed when people say they can sleep on their back because, like, you know, Trish, you and I, we're a little bit older than most people listening to this podcast. So, you know, we grew up in an era where our parents put us on our stomachs. So like, I can't sleep on my, if you see me sleeping on my back, like I'm dead tired. Like that's
right. Really tired. You just
really tired. Yeah. Cause I just, for me to just fall asleep, even if I was sleepy, even if I was drunk, I would fall asleep. I could fall asleep on my back, but I'll eventually turn on my stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me sleeping on my back is just not happening.
Yeah. I used to love to sleep on my stomach. But then it started hurting my back.
Okay.
As I got older. So I had to stop doing that. I can do it now, but I know not to try to stay there all night. You know, and I'm usually a sleeper. When I fall asleep, I don't really move much. Same. You know, there are some people who just move. And there's other things in reference to that with sleep apnea, you know, periodic leg movements or restless leg syndrome. People are constantly moving their legs like all night during sleep. They're kind of like running in their sleep. So you can't be getting a restful sleep if you think about it. Even though you think that you slept or you may have slept, it's not restful. It's not efficient, restful sleep because your body is kind of awake. You're kind of, you know, it's moving. It's kind of like that brain thing that your wife was talking about, the racing in the brain. Right. And that is not always indicative of, say, sleep apnea. Okay. That's just indicative of how we live. Our lives are go, go, go. You know, New Yorkers constantly go. We're always, you know, my friends are always saying to me, you're always doing something.
You won't sit still.
That's how, you know, but yeah, that racing of the brain I used to have that when I was younger. And I realized it was because I had a lot of responsibility. When I pulled back on the responsibilities or let a few things go, started saying no, or let me think about that or whatever, that stuff, my mind started to ease up. So, you know, it depends on the career you have, the job you have, what you do with your children, you know, how busy or hectic your life is. Your life can be busy and not hectic.
Right.
You know, so it just depends. Are you a person that has anxiety, that worries about a lot of things, or worries about your children, or worries about the next thing that's going to come? Or, you know, if you're that type of person, you're going to have that type of racy brain automatically.
So I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
Can you catch up on sleep? Is there such a thing as catching up on sleep?
Yeah, because all of us have an internal body clock. So there used to be patients that would come in and the doctors would have them, if they didn't necessarily think that they had sleep apnea, but they had a sleep problem. Okay. So they would have them keep a sleep log. So for a week, 2 weeks, they'd have them write down when they went to sleep, when they woke up, you know, what happened in between, you know, that kind of thing. So then they'd bring it back to the doctor and he could kind of look through their log and see if he could have them do something to adjust their internal sleep clock, whether that was stay up an extra 2 hours and then go to bed. Make yourself tired and then, or whatever, go to sleep later, wake up earlier, that kind of thing, to try to adjust it. And you have to do that as a pattern so that then it just becomes natural for you to do. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it, helps you to catch up on that sleep that you weren't getting.
Okay. Because I especially when I was younger, I'd be like, getting those nights where you're getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll catch a nap on the weekend. I'll catch up on my sleep on the weekend.
Right.
But I'm wondering, like, do you really ever catch up?
You can make yourself refreshed. Mm-hmm. You can make yourself feel like, oh yeah, I needed that sleep and I feel, better now. I don't feel so sluggish or tired. So yeah, you can catch up on it. Yeah.
And see, that's the thing, because it's like, you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to catch up on sleep. And then you take, like for me, like and I think I told you just before, but like when I take naps, I time my naps. I never take a nap longer than an hour and a half.
What?
Never. I set an alarm clock for my nap. Yeah. I ain't tell you that, Trish.
You never told me that, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's because it's if your intention is to nap, a nap is a nap. A nap is not sleeping 5 hours. That's not a nap. That's that you were asleep. Now you may be that tired and try to nap and think you're only going to sleep an hour, half hour, and you're so tired that you end up napping. You wake up the next morning or you nap for 6 hours. I've seen people do that, but it's just your body is tired. There's times I can come home from work and I don't have an intention of going to sleep, but I'll sit on the couch and I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch something, another podcast or, my favorite show. And
next thing you know,
I know the show is watching me.
Right.
And, I've slept, but you have to listen to your body. That's another thing. A lot of people just feel like, no, I need to, I got this to, you do. But you know what? It'll still be there depending on what it is. So you should listen to your body for your health, especially as you get older, for us older individuals. Yeah. I'm not old like you say.
No, you're seasoned.
Okay.
You're a seasoned saint.
I'll take that. But yeah, as you get older, you just need to listen to what your body's telling you.
Okay.
If it's telling you to sit down and rest, sit down and rest. You may not necessarily need to go to sleep either. Just sit down.
You know what it is? I think we know our body's telling us that, but we feel like we're going to miss something. Right. It's just like, oh man, like I know for me,
we ain't missing nothing.
Well, like for me, I like watching, especially like at the time of this recording, NBA season just ended, but I like watching the playoffs and watching it because you don't want to miss a game. Like, and I remember, a couple months ago there was a game on, and Trish, the game came on at 10:30, so it was 7:30 West because the game was on the West Coast. And I mean, like, I'm nodding at when the game started. I'm like, there's no way I'm like, there's no way I'm going to make it through this game. And I ended up trying to stand up and watch the game. I was like, you know what? I did it for like an hour. I was like, let me take my ass.
Listen, they got things now. You can tape the game. DVRs and all this.
But it's you again, you want to see it live. I would be remiss if I didn't bring you on here and we talk a little bit about dreams. Dreams, because I know you and I have had conversations about dreams. One of the articles that I was looking at before we came on, dreams about sex, about people, other people. Is that common? Was that
sexual dreams of other people, you're saying?
Yeah, sexual dreams about other people other than your wife, husband, partner, whomever. Is that common? Is that a red flag? Does that mean you're a freak? What does that mean?
Listen, it could mean you're a freak. To me, we don't hear about we don't hear about dreams in reference to sleep apnea. A person that dreams like I dream all the time. My TV just went on.
I got a text message from a totally random number.
Hold on.
I opened up
Go ahead.
and I needed pictures of myself. So I messaged him. I was like, "Who's this?" And they responded back with either.
I don't know why my TV just popped on like that.
Don't worry about it.
Good, this is a recording. Okay, so it could just mean you're a freak. We don't hear about dreams necessarily in sleep, other than when it comes to, say, somebody having night terrors, which is a sleep disorder. So there's many sleep disorders, but night terrors are kind of when, somebody's sleeping and they just wake up in this like horrible, like frightened state. You know what I mean? And I can't say that it's common, but you hear it every once in a while that somebody wakes up very panicked and scared and, whatever. It's usually a night terror. Or we have things where people will get out of the bed. Sleepwalking is another sleep disorder. Narcolepsy, where you just fall asleep at the drop of
time.
Yeah, and narcolepsy with cataplexy, which is where like emotion will make you knock out to sleep. Laughing, crying, all that kind of stuff. Very unique and I won't say strange, but I don't know the word I would say, but they're very different. Things that you don't hear all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but if you're having dreams about sex, about coworkers and bosses or something like that, then you're just a freak.
I would just say, well, maybe you got a crush on that coworker. Maybe I don't know how that relates to. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't think it means what they say it means, like it relates to you or how, I don't know. I used to be able to interpret dreams very well because I've been a dreamer since a child. My mother and I actually used to have the same dream for years.
Wow.
Years. And people wouldn't believe us until we said something, and a lot of our dreams, things we said in our dreams would come true.
What?
Yeah.
I think I asked you this before, but I'm gonna ask you again. I had a dream. It sounds like Martin Luther King. I had a dream. I had this reoccurring dream of running off this bridge, and the bridge, it's a distinctive bridge because it's the bridge that if you're coming down,
the bridge. Okay.
Yeah, I know the bridge. The bridge is on, it's I think it's I-10. I think it's the bridge that if you're coming into the parish, if you're coming into Orleans Parish going into New Orleans, it's the bridge that goes into that parish, that county. Okay. And what's distinctive about this bridge is that it's the only bridge that I've ever seen in my life where instead of it going up, this bridge goes down, and it's surrounded by a huge body of water. I think it's Lake Pontchartrain, if I'm not mistaken. But I've had that dream of running off that bridge, like all through high school, and a lot of times I'd have that dream in college. Well, when I first got out of college, I had a work assignment where I had to drive to New Orleans, and guess what? I had to drive across that bridge, and I was horrified. And I mean, like Trish, I didn't realize it until I got on the bridge. I'm like, and I'm doing like 70, 75. I'm trailing behind somebody, and I can't even tell them like, look, I need to stop because I'm not gonna make it across this bridge. It's the most
wow.
And that bridge, I mean, like it just went straight down, and I was just like this.
Oh, petrified almost.
Petrified. Yeah.
So the bridge, you go onto the bridge and then it just drops.
And it goes down. Yeah.
Like you're going into the tunnel, but you're not.
Yeah, it goes down. It goes down, and then it kind of flattens out because that part of that part of Louisiana is below sea level. So I just
right. Okay.
And this was 1998, so it's been a long time. But I've never been back on that bridge again. Obviously, I made it, but If I go to New Orleans again, I'm fine.
So you would not go across it again. It would freak you out.
No, I don't want to.
So let me ask you this: when you have that dream, what happens? You fly off, you jump off, you walk. What happens?
The car goes off the bridge, and the car hits the car hits the water, and I jump out of the car before the car hits the water, and I swim to the shore. I don't die in it. I just crash. I just go off the bridge. I mean, in my dreams, I'm a superhero. So like, I've been shot in my dreams and lived, and I've been on planes. And, yeah. I've literally like died in a dream and then got up and be like, man, y'all ain't hurt me. Like that type of thing. It's weird. But I can't be the only one that dreams like this. I'm sure I'm not the only person that dreams like this.
That's good. You're probably not. I mean, I've never heard anybody dream like that or say that, but I would think that's a good thing that you survived, that it shows your tenacity. It says something about you. That's what I would take that as, that you're resilient.
Yeah, I ain't going out like no sucker.
Right. We know you ain't no sucker, that's for sure.
No, but yeah, that's just it's and you know what, Trish, I have that dream less and less. I might have it once or twice a year now, but it used to be pretty frequent. But it would always be that one bridge, and up until I had to drive across it, I never knew where that bridge was.
Wow. I mean, they say a lot of people have a recurring dream in their life. Why? I don't know. I don't know I've had recurring dreams since I was young, but I'm a child. When I was a child, I used to be able, which I still can, see premonitions and things that might happen and things like that. I'm that kind of person. So I believe in all of it, and I also know that God speaks to you through your dreams as well.
Facts.
So if you're a spiritual person, that's, one of the things. But dreaming about somebody else having sex and you're having sex or whatever sexual dream, I really don't know what that entails or not that I don't know what it entails because I've had them, but I don't know really what they mean because it could have been about something that I wasn't even thinking about or having a crush on or anything like that. So those are weird because you're like, why am I dreaming about that person? Maybe they got a crush on you consciously there, getting in your.
Could be.
You never know.
Could be. Well, Trish, I had to bring you on. I appreciate you.
No problem. Anytime, that I'm here for you.
Oh yeah, we definitely got to do this again. This has been fun. And I hope that people, got something from it along with a few laughs and everything too. Because this is, because we all need sleep and we all need, we all have issues. I don't want to say issues, but we all have, things that we want to deal with. And I think you dropped some gems that everybody can kind of take from. Before we get out of here, do you want to, I don't know if you want to put your socials out there, if you care, you don't have to, if you don't want to, but,
no, I don't really have socials like that. Ones. If I had businesses, that would be a different thing, which I may eventually, but, just in reference to sleep apnea, if you think you have a sleep disorder, or sleep issue, sleep problem, go see a sleep specialist. Pulmonologists deal with sleep as well, even if they're not direct sleep specialists, but usually in pulmonologist offices, they have sleep specialists there. So go talk to them, and it'll usually be like a patient, and you tell them what's going on with your sleep and see what they can do, because sleep apnea really can, it affects your heart, your lung, and your brain, makes your body retain water. You end up gaining weight. Don't know why you're gaining weight. When you get treated, we've had people that have gotten treated on CPAP and they lost 10, 15 pounds, like almost immediately, because your body was retaining water. So that stuff starts to come off. It kind of motivates you to start to get healthy. And my brother, God rest his soul, he had sleep. A lot of men in my family have sleep apnea, but my brother in particular that passed away, he had sleep apnea. And I got him on a CPAP machine and he started losing weight. and he got himself off the machine because he got motivated. He lost like 75 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Losing 10 pounds too, 15 pounds, if you know you're overweight, can help. It helps with snoring. It helps with the sleep apnea. Yeah, so it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, so definitely get out there and get active. That'll help.
Get active can help, but go see a sleep specialist.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. I remember my brother and I, we talked to our dad, and this is probably about 10, 15 years ago. And he had the same thing and got on the CPAP, and he's still on it, but it's his sleep apnea isn't as severe, but I'm glad that that he got on it as opposed to not saying
people that get on the machine say they feel like a new person
because they're able to rest,
because they're really getting efficient sleep. Like for years, people have not been getting a real efficient sleep, and so once they do, it's like, oh, why didn't I do this years ago? That kind of thing. So yeah,
new lease on life.
Yeah.
Well, Trish, I appreciate you for falling through. Again, folks, thanks for checking out this episode of the 12 Kyle podcast, this bonus edition. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. The podcast drops every Thursday at midnight. From time to time, we'll drop episodes like this, bonus episodes that drop on Sundays at midnight. Of course, you want to check me out. Catch me on the socials at 12 Kyle. That's going to do it for us. So for my homegirl, Trish, the sleep specialist, the expert, if you will. I'm your boy, 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys next time. 5Gs.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Maybe you recognize this voice. Andy Betterman here of the injury law firm Greenberg & Betterman. For over 35 years, we've been helping people in the DMV with auto accidents and medical malpractice. Get a free consultation by visiting gblawyers.com and feel better.